There's a hidden system. Not one written in textbooks or spoken in classrooms, but a system that quietly decides who thrives financially and who stays trapped. You feel it every time you work harder but still can't seem to move forward. Every time the numbers rise, yet somehow, freedom stays out of reach. It's invisible, but it's there. And today, we're going to expose it. Because the truth is, money was never just about math. It was about systems. Systems that reward those who understand flow, not just effort. Pause for a second. Think about it. If money truly rewarded hard work, every nurse, every teacher, every construction worker would already be free. But they're not. Because they were never shown how the system really works. This isn't about conspiracy. It's about literacy, financial literacy, the kind they never taught us. The kind that makes you see the world like an investor, not an employee. The kind that rewires your relationship with time, value, and leverage. And once you understand it, you'll never see money the same way again. Money, for most people, is an event. A paycheck. A sale. A transfer. But for the wealthy, money is a system. It's a network of flows, feedback loops, and compounding actions. That's the first thing they never taught us, that money is not about accumulation. It's about circulation. You're not supposed to hoard it. You're supposed to guide it. To move it into places that grow, multiply, and return. That's why people who understand systems can make money even when they sleep. Because their systems are working, not just their hands. It's what Naval Ravikant once called the leverage economy. He said, "You're not going to get rich renting out your time. You must own equity, a piece of a business, to gain your financial freedom." In other words, you must own a system. But before we get to that, let's step back. When we were younger, we were told to chase security. Go to school, get a good job, save for retirement. That was the script. But the script was written for an old economy, one that no longer exists. Today, the world rewards those who can think in systems. Who can turn one source of energy, money, time, or attention into many. That's the real secret system, the wealth loop. It starts with understanding three invisible forces that shape your financial life. Cash flow, capital, and leverage. Cash flow keeps you alive. Capital makes you free. And leverage multiplies both. Most people stop at cash flow, they trade time for money and stay there. They believe the goal is to earn more. But earning more without building a system just traps you faster. Because when income rises, expenses follow. It's called the lifestyle inflation trap, a silent destroyer of wealth. The system doesn't care how much you make. It only responds to how much you retain and reinvest. That's why the wealthy don't just earn, they recycle money. They create what I call financial ecosystems. Your salary feeds your investments. Your investments generate cash flow. Your cash flow feeds your freedom. And your freedom gives you time, the most valuable currency of all. Time is what multiplies everything. But here's the hidden paradox. The poor and the middle class spend time earning money. The wealthy spend money buying time. They build systems that continue to work even when they don't. They understand that true financial intelligence is not how to make money. It's how to make it move without you. Pause for a second. If you stopped working today, how long could your current system sustain you? That answer, not your salary, defines your real wealth. This is the knowledge we were never taught. Schools trained us to be efficient, not free. To manage resources, not to multiply them. To think in straight lines, not in loops. But wealth isn't linear. It's circular. It's energy in motion. And once you learn to direct that motion consciously, everything changes. You begin to see opportunities differently. A job isn't just income, it's seed money for a system. A purchase isn't just an expense, it's either consumption or investment. Every financial decision becomes part of a web that either feeds or starves your future. And that's where most people fail, they make disconnected decisions. No system. No loop. No flow. The rich, meanwhile, see every move as connected. Every dollar has a task. Every expense has a purpose. Every investment has a reason. This mindset, this systemic vision, is the foundation of quiet wealth. Let's go deeper. The first step to building your own money system is understanding the four flows. These are the rivers of wealth, the pathways through which money travels in your life. Flow 1, active income, money from your labor. Flow 2, passive income, money from systems you've built. Flow 3, portfolio income, money from investments. Flow 4, creative or intellectual income, money from ideas. Everyone starts with Flow 1. But the goal is to use that flow to build the next 3. When your money system supports multiple flows, you break free from dependence. You stop being a laborer in someone else's system and become the architect of your own. This is what they never explained. The wealthy aren't smarter, they're structured differently. They think like system designers. They ask, how can I make this dollar flow through my life more than once? How can I turn income into assets? How can I turn assets into freedom? That's the real money system, one that turns every resource into momentum. Let's dig deeper into how the system actually multiplies itself. Because here's the truth. Wealth isn't a number. It's a mechanism. And if your mechanism is broken, no amount of income can fix it. There's a rule the wealthy follow unconsciously. Never let money rest. Every dollar they earn is assigned a mission. Some dollars are sent to buy freedom. Some are sent to build equity. Some are sent to multiply quietly in the background. Most people, however, let their money rest in savings accounts, or worse, in lifestyle consumption. That's financial hibernation. Money left idle slowly dies under inflation. You see, inflation isn't just a rise in prices. It's a silent tax on people who don't understand the system. While you hold your cash, someone else is using theirs to buy productive assets, and you're paying for it through lost purchasing power. That's why the wealthy don't fear inflation. They use it. They own assets that benefit from it: businesses, real estate, stocks, intellectual property. These aren't just investments. They are machines, tiny systems that print value from time, attention, and scale. Pause for a second. Ask yourself, how many systems are working for you right now, while you listen to this? If the answer is none, then your system is someone else's income stream. Every time you pay rent, someone's asset is growing. Every time you spend on subscriptions, someone else's system is compounding. That's not a bad thing, it's a wake-up call. You can either be part of someone else's machine or build your own. The path to financial literacy begins when you start asking different questions. Instead of, how can I earn more? Ask, how can I make my money earn more than me? Instead of, how can I save better? Ask, how can I allocate better? Instead of, how can I cut expenses? Ask, which of these expenses could become assets if I redirected them? It's not about deprivation. It's about direction. Every financial decision should serve a system, not an impulse. When you start designing your life this way, you realize that the rules of money aren't mysterious at all. They were just never explained through the right lens. There's a story about a janitor named Ronald Red. He lived a quiet, ordinary life in Vermont. Drove an old car. Worked with his hands. Never made more than modest wages. But when he died in 2014, his estate was worth over $8 million. How? He understood the system without ever being rich. He lived beneath his means, invested consistently, and allowed compounding to do its silent work for decades. That's the part of the system most people underestimate: time. Because compounding isn't just a financial concept. It's a psychological test. It rewards those who can delay gratification long enough to let systems breathe. Warren Buffett once said, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." That's not just about investing, it's about life. Patience builds compounding systems. Impatience destroys them. You can't microwave wealth. You grow it through design, discipline, and duration. The second secret they never taught us is this: your income is a reflection of the problems you solve, not the hours you work. Employees solve small, defined problems. Entrepreneurs and investors solve larger, scalable ones. And the market pays based on impact, not effort. That's the invisible lever of wealth value creation at scale. Every wealthy person you know found a way to separate their time from their income. They built something that works independently. A business. A brand. A system of products. Or a portfolio of investments. They stepped away from trading hours and started trading systems. And here's what's powerful: you can begin doing the same, no matter where you are. You can turn your knowledge into digital assets, your skills into service systems, your savings into capital flows, your audience into opportunity. That's the modern form of leverage. Leverage is the multiplier of the money system. It comes in three forms: capital leverage, code leverage, and people leverage. Capital leverage is using money to make more money: investments, compounding, ownership. Code leverage is technology, software, automation, AI, that works while you rest. People leverage is building teams or networks that amplify your effort. Combine these three, and your system starts to self-propel. That's when you begin to experience something rare: financial momentum. Money flowing in faster than it flows out, without needing constant input. This is what real financial freedom feels like: not retirement, but independence. Freedom from the need to chase. Freedom to design. Freedom to think long-term. Pause for a second and imagine that version of your life. What would it feel like if your money system quietly handled your survival, while you focused on your purpose? That's not fantasy. That's systems thinking. But let's ground this into action. How do you build your own money system from scratch? Start with 3 pillars. Pillar 1: awareness. Know where every dollar comes from and where it goes. Clarity is the foundation of control. Without it, you're just reacting. Track your inflows and outflows. Name your patterns. Awareness alone can transform your financial behavior. Pillar 2: automation. The system must operate even when you're not watching. Automate saving, investing, and bill payments. This removes emotional friction, the single biggest killer of consistency. And Pillar 3: allocation. Decide on percentages before you receive income. For example, 50% living, 20% investing, 10% learning, 10% freedom, 10% giving. Adjust as you grow, but always keep a pre-planned system. You can't manage what you don't measure. And you can't scale what you don't systemize. That's the hidden formula. Awareness creates clarity. Automation creates consistency. Allocation creates growth. Put them together, and you create a living, breathing money system. Now, there's a mental barrier that stops most people here: fear. The fear of risk. The fear of losing money. The fear of the unknown. But risk isn't what it seems. The real risk is staying ignorant. Because in today's world, not knowing how to make money work is more dangerous than any investment loss. You can recover lost money. But lost time, that's gone forever. Financial literacy protects your time. It allows you to see through noise, fads, and hype. It turns you from a participant into an observer, from a worker into a strategist. And when you reach that level of awareness, you realize something profound. You don't need to be rich to be sovereign. You just need to be in control. Control of your cash flow. Control of your systems. Control of your time. And once you have that control, money stops being stressful. It becomes quiet. When you start to quiet your relationship with money, something changes inside you. You stop chasing, and you start directing. You begin to notice that wealth isn't about luxury, it's about leverage of choice. The freedom to say no. To walk away. To spend time how you want, not how you must. That's the essence of the money system they never taught us. It's not about abundance in things. It's about abundance in time, peace, and autonomy. Because money isn't the goal, it's the signal of alignment between value and service. It flows to those who create more than they consume, to those who think longer term than the average mind, and to those who see systems where others see struggle. Pause here and reflect. How would your life look if every financial decision you made this year was connected, part of a single living system, not a series of random choices? How would your stress level change? How would your future feel? The truth is, most people have a money pattern, not a money plan. A pattern is reactive. A plan is strategic. And a system, that's the bridge between the two. Let's return to that word, system. A system is predictable. It doesn't rely on mood, motivation, or luck. It runs on rules. Rules like: every dollar must have a job. Every purchase must produce value. Every investment must fit the flow. When these rules become habits, the emotional noise around money disappears. You stop thinking about getting rich and start thinking about building rich systems. Because the real currency isn't dollars. It's discipline. And every system you build compounds your discipline. This is why some people with moderate incomes retire early and others with six figures live paycheck to paycheck. It's not income that decides your freedom. It's structure. Wealth loves structure. Chaos repels it. There's an elegant simplicity to this. Money follows order. Disorder pushes it away. You can feel this principle in nature. Rivers don't flow uphill. They flow through channels that have been carved over time. Your financial life works the same way. Every time you set an intentional channel, a savings system, an investment habit, a business process, you give your money a path. And the more consistent that path, the faster the flow becomes. This is why compounding feels slow at first. You're still carving the channel. But once it's deep enough, the current starts moving on its own. That's when you finally understand what the wealthy mean when they say, money makes money. It's not magic, it's mechanics. Systems in motion, powered by discipline and time. And here's where psychology enters the picture. The real challenge isn't numbers, it's narratives. The stories you've been told about money shape the system you build. If you believe money is evil, you'll subconsciously reject it. If you believe it's scarce, you'll clutch it tightly and lose opportunities. If you believe it's abundant but meaningless, you'll waste it thoughtlessly. The mind creates the mechanics. So before you optimize your money, you must update your mental model. Ask yourself, what was I taught about money growing up? Who modeled financial behavior for me, and did they understand freedom or just survival? What beliefs am I carrying that belong to someone else? Because here's the truth, you can't build a new system with old scripts. The wealthy aren't born different. They simply rewrote their financial story. They replaced guilt with curiosity, fear with literacy, impulse with intention. That's the real education, not formulas or spreadsheets. but awareness of your inner economics. Here's something to remember. You're not just managing money. You're managing energy. Money is stored energy, a record of exchanged value. When you use it consciously, it multiplies energy. When you use it unconsciously, it drains it. Every transaction either compounds your future or taxes your peace. So treat your spending like investing, because it is. Invest in what increases capacity, not just comfort. Books, tools, health, skills, relationships, these are the invisible assets that fuel the visible ones. As Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And yet, in school, they never taught us to invest in knowledge about money itself. They taught us how to earn it, not how to master it. That's why the financially free feel calm. They're not just earning, they're understanding. Now, let's shift into reflection. Because understanding without introspection is just noise. Ask yourself quietly, if I disappeared for 3 months, would my money still move? Would my systems keep flowing? Or would everything stop the moment I did? That's how you measure the maturity of your system. A mature system sustains itself. An immature system collapses without attention. The goal isn't just financial stability. It's financial continuity. So design your system to operate like nature. Self-sustaining, self-adjusting, self-replicating. Even small systems, if consistent, can grow into ecosystems. A side hustle can become an enterprise. A recurring income stream can become a fund. A budget habit can become generational wisdom. That's the true wealth transfer, not inheritance, but intelligence. Because the real money system they never taught us isn't external, it's internal. It's built in your daily decisions, in your patience, in your clarity, in the calm repetition of simple disciplines done over years. When you begin to think in decades instead of days, your entire relationship with money transforms. You stop asking, how can I make quick money? And start asking, how can I design permanent wealth? And that shift, that timeline shift, is where everything begins to align. When you slow down and see money as energy, you start to understand why the wealthy move differently. They're not chasing, they're engineering flow. They build mechanisms that honor patience, discipline, and delayed gratification. That's why their wealth feels effortless. It's not that they work less, it's that they work through systems. Think about the story of the farmer and the seeds. Most people plant once and expect to eat forever. The wealthy? They plant every season, diversifying crops, protecting soil, investing in irrigation. Their abundance is not luck. It's design. Your money system is no different. You don't need a fortune to start. You need structure and persistence. Because wealth is not a result, it's a rhythm. It's built on simple, repeatable actions done consistently over time. Spend below your means. Invest above your comfort. Reinvest your rewards. And automate the process so it never depends on willpower again. The more you automate, the more mental space you reclaim. And that space becomes your greatest asset. In silence, wealth grows. It doesn't announce itself. It compounds in private. While others flash what they earn, builders quietly expand their systems. One brick, one investment, one decision at a time. And that's what they never told us. True wealth is invisible until it's undeniable. By the time the world notices, the system is already unshakable. Take this moment to pause. Inhale deeply. Imagine yourself 5 years from now, calm, in control, sovereign. Not because you made millions overnight, but because you built systems that protect, grow, and serve your life. Systems that run while you sleep. Systems that compound your time, not consume it. Systems that free your mind to focus on purpose, not pressure. That is the wealth they never taught us to pursue. You were never meant to chase money. You were meant to understand it. To see it for what it really is, a mirror of discipline, focus, and alignment. When you truly understand that, the stress fades. You stop comparing. You start creating. And slowly, your life becomes quieter, but richer in every sense of the word. So here's your quiet assignment. Take one part of your financial life this week, just one, and build a system around it. Whether it's automating your savings, creating a small digital product, or starting a portfolio with as little as $5. Start the system. Nurture the system. Let time do the rest. Because money doesn't respond to emotion, it responds to architecture. And today, you become the architect. If this reflection brought you a moment of clarity today, take a second to like the video. It tells us what truly resonates. And if you're serious about building your own path to financial freedom, join us on this journey by subscribing. The path can feel solitary, but it doesn't have to be. Leave a comment below with one small financial action you'll take this week. Let's build accountability together. Follow The Vault Mind, where we master money, mindset, and time.